for Tuesday, November 18th, 2025 to order. Dawn, if you will please call the roll.
Lori McIntyre.
Here.
Patty Cross.
Here.
Tucker Billiter. Jennifer Oberlin.
Here.
Joan Goddard. John Gilbert. Michael Nichols.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Thank you. And next on the agenda is the approval of the October 21st, 2025 minutes.
So
And-
moved.
Well, I noticed a correction,
You did?
I believe. If you look on page 3, the motion was seconded by Mr. Nichols and passed unanimously. Vice Chair Gilbert asked the secretary to call the next item of business. I think that was me.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, Chair Oberlin. And then over on page 5, last sentence, there being no other business, Mr. Gilbert made a motion. Actually, that's right, because I couldn't make that motion. Sorry, that's right. So just that one correction. Yeah.
Where is that?
The correction,
On this one.
3, right here. Okay, now I'll entertain a motion.
I will move that we approve the minutes as corrected.
In a second,
Second.
all in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, minutes approved as corrected. Next, we will move to the first item of new business. That's chairperson's report and administrative approvals. I have nothing to report, so I look to Vicki for our administrative approvals.
Good evening. Vicki Bierenberg, Historic Preservation Officer, and for the period from October 14th to November 6th, we had 5 administrative approvals, 2 in the Special Historic Zoning District, 111 Watson Court, to replace a garage door in kind and install metal cellar doors, 417 Wapping Street, to replace the standing seam roof on the house in kind and replace the tile roof on the garage with standing seam metal, which is documented as existing underneath the tile. So that was the original roof. In the Special Capital Historic District at 518 Murray Street, we approved a solar panel installation on an accessory building. And at 218 West Campbell, we issued a permit for the reconstruction of existing exterior stairs that are deteriorated. And in the Central Business Zoning District at 315 St. Clair, we issued a permit to replace 2 rear windows in kind. That's all I have.
Thank you, Vicki.
I do have some staff updates, just a few. As you know, we're having a special meeting on December 4th. We have 1 case. It should be very short. That's a Thursday, not a Tuesday. And I will send out a reminder once again. I'm working on the staff report and hope to get that out to you before the end of this week. We have hired the firm HMB to conduct a historic and architectural survey near Holmes Street for a potential future National Register district. This project will be the first of 2 phases, and it's being financially assisted by a certified local government grant. We are planning a public engagement meeting, and we will invite the property owners to that meeting. This will be similar to the one we hosted for Montrose Park at this time last year. We are expecting to host this in early December, but I do not have all the details worked out yet, so I will keep you posted on that. It would be great if some of you could come and support the project and help to answer questions. CLG grant applications for the next round of funding were received, well, the application forms were received this week. They are due back on March 3rd. We expect to submit at least one application, which would be for Phase 2 of this survey project. Our next meeting after December 4th will be on January 20th, 2026. We are finalizing the 2026 calendar right now, so I'll get that to you as soon as everybody's had a look at it. And the last item is that we normally have a work session in early February. Our regular meeting in February is going to be on the 17th. So be thinking about possible dates for this. It needs to be early enough that we can get whatever recommendations you may have for other CLG grant-funded projects in the form of a resolution to take to the Board of Commissioners for their regular meeting that month, which was like the last Monday, I believe.
The last Monday, okay.
So, anyway, think about possible dates and times, or at least let me know dates that you, between January 20th and February 17th, when you are not available. And I'll try to get this worked out as soon as possible. And maybe even we can get some training from Ed this year. Okay. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. So next, we will move on to item number 3 of new business. Donna, if you'll please read the request.
In accordance with Articles 4, 16, and 17 of the City of Frankfort zoning ordinance, Jen Williamson, on behalf of Bill Cole and Save the Grand Theater Incorporated, is requesting a certificate of appropriateness to replace the existing backlit letterboard section of the theater's marquee with a digital display at the property located at 308 St. Clair Street. The property is more particularly identified as PDA map number 061-241-024.00.
Okay, this project or application, hold on just a minute. There we go. Is in the Central Business Historic Zoning District. The building is a historic theater built in the early 20th century. It was remodeled circa 1940s into the Art Moderne streamlined style. It has been evaluated as contributing to the Frankfort Commercial National Register Historic District since 2008, when the period of significance was expanded into the 1950s. It is also contributing to the Central Frankfort National Register Historic District. And the request is to change the manual letterboards on each side of the marquee to digital screens. Staff is recommending approval of this application. Here is a PVA map that shows you where the property is located. I've also included the 1907 Sanborn map, which does show a masonry building in this location. It's identified as a millinery, which is a hat-making store. There were several of those downtown, which is kind of interesting. This theater that exists now could have been an adaptive reuse, or perhaps an entirely new building was built. The Grand Theater history states that the theater was opened as a vaudeville house in 1911. The later Sanborn map that has the 1955 updates shows the configuration as we know it today, with another entrance on West Main Street. And these are photos of the marquee, and you can see the existing letterboards. This marquee was approved by the ARB in 2006. I've also included in your staff report some photos of examples of other historic theaters that have incorporated screens into their marquees. This one is in Rochester, New York. This one is in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And there is a more local example of the Lexington Opera House in downtown Lexington. The theater is on the National Register of Historic Places. However, downtown Lexington is not considered a locally zoned historic district. Their commercial areas exempt from historic regulations, although I do think they have some design guidelines they use for things down there. But this is obviously a historic building, has a lot of integrity, and is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Our design guidelines do not have specific language for when or if digital signing is appropriate. It states that illuminated signage shall be reviewed in consideration of the city's zoning ordinance and historic character of the commercial district. I have consulted with our planning director on this. The proposed signage is not contrary to the language of approvable signage in our zoning ordinance. The conditions for the COA that was issued in 2006, which was 20 years ago, pretty long time, stated that the lighting on the marquee should not flash, move, rotate, blink, flicker, or vary in intensity of color. However, staff believes that this condition should be reconsidered in today's environment of daily use of these types of digital screens in many aspects of our daily life. And given that the building is a theater and contains a screen, we think that the exterior screens are, a more compatible feature to the building and do not negatively impact the integrity of the district as a whole. I've included here some shots of St. Clair so you can, see the surrounding character around the theater on both sides of the street. And then, of course, also at the end of the street where you see the old State House building. So based on the information contained in the application and our evaluation within the context of the property's significance, key features, integrity, neighborhood character, and preservation goals for the city, staff does recommend that the ARB issue a COA for this proposal after consideration of the findings that are on page 4 and with the recommended conditions found on page 5, which are also on this slide. And I'd be happy to answer any questions if I can.
Are there any questions for Vicki?
I have a teeny tiny question, and it's in, condition number 1, it says a sign permit affair, and it says a building permit.
Yeah, it should say sign permit. This is a sign thing, so that should be different than what I typed in your staff report. I apologize.
Any other questions for Vicki? Vicki, I really appreciate how you kind of went out to others in your field and asked for examples from them. I appreciate that. Any others? Thank you.
Mhm.
Is there a representative of the applicant present? If so, please come forward and state your name and address.
I'm Jen Williamson, and we're at 407 Wapping Street, Frankfurt.
Have you received and read the staff report and agree with its findings and conditions?
Yes, I've looked at that. I'm shorthanded on the findings of fact.
Actually, I don't know if there are any. Oh, yeah, there are.
I might just suggest if the use of the building, the unique use of the building in downtown isn't one of the findings, it might be a finding, because if there's concern about broad spread digital signs, I think this is this is the only performing arts center we have in downtown.
So, the two findings of fact, 3. The The signage is for a theater which contains a screen in its interior upon which images are shown. Other examples of historic theaters with this type of digital signage, and some of them are located in historic zoning districts.
Okay,
And the other elements of the marquee and other character-defining feature of the building are not being altered with this change.
right, that's right. What is it?
We were just wondering why you were trying to talk us out of this.
I'm not trying to talk anyone out of it. I didn't bring my packet, and I just wanted to make sure that that theater, you know, the theater was part of the findings. I thought I saw it, but I may have looked at it quickly. So, yes.
You want to tell us about this request?
So, just to reinforce and restate, the only part of the sign that is changing is the white letter box to have these digital displays that'll allow the easier change of the, you know, what shows are coming, and also for the opportunity, shows that are branded, you know, can kind of be more recognizable than reading the, you know, those little letters. That's all I have.
Any
What is it,
questions
Pat?
for the applicant?
Do you not enjoy the ladder out there with the letters?
I am fortunate enough to not have that job to do, but I suspect it's a headache when it's icy and such.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thanks.
Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this proposal? No. No comments were received. Okay. I would entertain a motion.
Okey dokey. I would move that in accordance with Articles 4, 16, and 7 of the City of Frankfort zoning ordinance, that we approve the request for a certificate of
Appropriate.
appropriateness on behalf of Bill Cole of the State Save the Grand Theater, based on the findings of fact on page 4 and 5 of the staff report, and with the conditions on page 5, with the one edit of the word building to the word sign, number 1. To replace the existing backlit letterboard section of the theater's marquee with digital displays at the property located at 308 St. Clair Street.
Is there a second? Madam Secretary, if you'll please call the roll.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Ms. Oberlin?
Yes.
Ms. Cross?
Yes.
Ms. McIntyre?
Yes.
Motion carries.
With that, there being any citizens here for citizen comment? Ms. Cross?
No.
Okay. There being none, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second?
Second?
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, guys.